If you're seeing this, this is finding you in the right time. Maybe you have people around you that likes to speak ill upon your life. Maybe you're around people who likes to talk about you and your life and talk down on you behind your back. Maybe you know about this, maybe you don't. But either way, this video found you for a reason, okay? Um, I want to be the one to tell you that no one can speak your destiny but you. And when you're around people, and sometimes, like, if you realize that they're not for you, sometimes you can't just leave right away, right? You may have cut ties with them, you may have cut the cord and attachments, but it's just some physical obligations why you have to be around those people. Or, you know what I'm saying, you just might be the star of the show and they talking about you anyway, right? While you're not there, they like to gossip about you on the phone. They like to gossip in group messages. Every time your name is being brought up, it's something negative, especially if you've chosen a path that is least taken, you know? And the path that is least taken is the path of your destiny, the path of your soul's purpose. If you are making yourself happy and you're doing it unconventionally, because usually the conventional way is what's given to us by society. It's a cut, dry, cookie cutter, pasted journey. And our true soul's journey will always be that of unconventional, avant-garde, eccentric, if you will. So one, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And two, sometimes you can even still be in your cookie cutter life, and you still have people speaking ill on you because they're driven by jealousy, they're driven by hate and envy, and a lot of people, they just want to dictate how your life is gonna go. People, they can't control themselves, they can't control their own lives, so they want to control your life and they want to speak over it. The power of the tongue is very powerful. That's like a biblical reference. However, it's the same thing as spirituality. That's that throat chakra. You can manifest with your throat chakra. And the more you're in your truth and the more you're speaking truth, the more powerful you manifest. But people could be manifesting negative things, things that aren't true. And I don't want to say they have power. They only have power if you are accepting it as true. So this is why I want to tell you, when people speak bad about you, if all your life people told you, you weren't going to make it, you aren't this, you aren't that, if people are foretelling, like I had a brother who every time I would stand up for myself, he would always speak violence over me. Like ever since I was in elementary school, like young, he would always speak violence over me. He would say, Faith, your mouth, somebody going to smack you, somebody going to do this, somebody's going to do that, all because of your mouth, your mouth, your mouth. And no, it never came to pass. Not in the way that he was saying it. No, it did not. Okay? But that's just an example of somebody trying to speak over you because they don't like what you're doing. Because I was small and I was supposed to do whatever he said. That type of thing. So rumors and gossip, especially if they're not true. I mean, rumors and gossip usually aren't true. That's speaking over your life. Oh, excuse me. Oh, confirmation on. And I just want to let you know that you are safe, because one of the mechanisms of a yawn is to calm your nervous system down. So when you are constantly being gossiped about, if it's in your inner circle, if it's by your family, that can have like a really that can have a devastating effect on you, like especially if you once consider these people close, or you still consider these people close. Especially if you look at it, oh, that's just my family, that's just how it's always been. They like to gossip, or I have a mother, and I know that this is a common thing amongst families, particularly black families with like multiple siblings. The mother will gossip about the other siblings to the other siblings, right? And so then when those other siblings start to participate as well, then like the momentum builds up, and it's like this thing of manifesting over your life. So I had a rumor very recently that I was pregnant, and they just kept saying it to me, and it was to the point where when I would just flat out say, no, I'm not, I'm gaining weight, because I'm actually in a healthy place right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I was just straight up told, no, you are pregnant. And you have to be careful about when people are pushing something that you know so much to be false, when they are pushing it. Because the reason why I say be aware of those people and be aware of those dynamics, right? And both my brothers were saying it, and my mother was saying it. She was the one that was like, no, you are. You have to be careful about that, because they'll do that with things that you haven't rooted in yourself to be false. So if you've been struggling with something, if you've been struggling with, gaining a stable partner, right? With receiving love, with having friendships, and they're constantly be like, oh, you ain't gonna never have no friends because da 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 da, and they say it with such conviction. You have to be able to kind of block that out. You gotta have to know to the core of yourself that you deserve better, and if you don't, be aware of those people, okay? Because every time you're around them, they're projecting all of their beliefs, all of their, even if it's done in the dark, right? When they come around you, it's in their energy, and it comes to the light. And you have to, kind of shield yourself in a way. And you have to know truly that no one can speak over your life but you. And the whole purpose of this video was to say that God, universe, source, your angels, your spirit team has the last say. Okay? Because even in some circumstances where you're not sure, the angels will come through and be like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what you are deserving of. So the highest power, your higher power, has the last say. No one can speak over your life but you and the higher power. And it's important for you to know that. And even if you can't discern some of the things that they're saying as true or false, because you haven't built that foundation within yourself, as long as you know you can't speak over my life, you don't know what's happening, you don't even know what's going to happen to you in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you don't know where my life is headed. Sorry. Try again. Try again. Try again. And be assured, okay? Like, oh, are these people just going to get away with projecting all this negativity, with literally trying to manifest in my life? No, they're not, because every time they try to manifest something negative into your life, it's like the seeds you sow. What you give, you get back. That's the law of karma. So if they're trying to manifest negativity in your life, they're doing nothing but manifesting negativity over their own life. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's it, and that's all. That's all they're doing. So I also, have a mother who is, not only is she narcissistic, she's bipolar, but she has a personality disorder. She has like a lot of personality disorders, but it's even more sinister than that. She's one of those people who like to take out her anger. She likes to project negativity onto other people. So she likes to lighten her load by giving it to someone else. So she's feeling overwhelming negativity, and she's done this ever since I was little. And I didn't realize how much I used to take on that energy. I used to just eat it up, and she would be lighter and free. You know, and it was some things that kind of alerted me to that. But that is kind of like, but I'm gonna finish the story, okay? Because it'll all tie in. So yesterday, you know, and trust me, y'all, I'm trust the spirit on this one. Spirit is saying I'm exactly where I need to be, so I'm exactly where I need to be, right? So don't worry, don't think where I'm like, because there was once upon a time last year I would have went to a homeless shelter before coming back here, honey. But that was not the wisest move. The wisest move was to grow and to learn from where they are, from, you know, where I came from, to not hide, but to confront it and actually learn, grow, and thrive. So anyway, yesterday she was in one of her little fits where she wanted to just push her negativity on the whole house, like literally yelling, screaming to the top of her lungs, do this, do that. She's picking, wanting to get into arguments. So it's this toy car that we have for my baby, but we can't find the charger, we can't find the remote. She can't really use it because she's above the weight limit, and you know, none of her grandchildren really comes over here to use it. It's just been sitting there. So she wanted me to like move it, do something with it. So I'm like, well, we're gonna throw it in the trash. Don't throw it in the trash. So basically it came to a point where she started trying to speak over my life. She started trying to say, that's how you block your blessings, you're mean, God don't like that, that's why you won't prosper. It was like, hold up, you trust me, you're the last person to know what the higher power wants, okay? Because you are so far removed from the higher power, and the universe, source, angels, they don't like it when you lie on them. They don't like it when you put stuff in their mouth. They really, really don't. That's why you block your blessings. That's why your blessings stay blocked. But anyways, and it pissed me off. It really did. And that's okay if you get pissed off, you know what I'm saying? But just know that in your deepest of hearts, it's not true. I just felt like it was like the gall of you. I know you not. I know you not. I know you not. But that's just an example of how people will start to speak over you. When you're getting in arguments, when they're mad, all of a sudden, you not nothing, you never gonna be nothing, you ain't never have nothing, so you're never gonna, you know what I'm saying? That type, alarms, okay? When people start speaking in the future tense about you and your life, and it's negativity, alarms should go up, okay? Because sometimes what'll happen is we'll start to internalize that, right? If we care about them, if we do this, we'll start to internalize that and have a conversation with these people. If you still consider them within your inner circle, have a conversation. Tell them point blank period, don't you ever speak about what's gonna happen in my life, and give those examples. And if you do, no, just say it just like that. Don't ever, because you shouldn't have to provide them an ultimatum. Now, what you do is you start moving differently. One, you label them as somebody who isn't really for you, because somebody who's for you, that's literally manifestation. They're not going to be manifesting with the power of their tongue, with their throat chakra, over your life in a negative way, because that's a spiritual attack. They're sending negativity towards you, towards your future. Do not allow that. That is not okay. Okay, what some people do is some people some people would say, I was just mad. Like, I had a sister like that, where she would say the most awful things while she was mad, but it was truly how she really felt, right? That was truly how she really felt about me. But it was always the excuse of, oh, I was just mad. I was just mad. No, 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 no. You don't have that, what do I want to say? You don't have that right. You don't have that opportunity to keep getting mad and keep saying whatever you want, talking crazy out your neck, and then I'm supposed to just forgive you and I'm not supposed to take it seriously. Okay? No, 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 no. And that's why me and her don't speak now, because you're not going to keep doing that. Okay? And it comes to find out that everything that she used to say, all the negativity, is truly how she felt, because it just kept happening. So yeah, no one can speak over your life in a negative way. And if they do, start removing them from your life, because you don't deserve that. Okay? You're already trying to figure out your life. You're already, you know what I'm saying, to figure out your life, to really follow in your soul's path, to follow in your soul's purpose. Even this cookie cutter thing they call society. You know, go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, go home, be off, go to work, go to work, go to work, you know, just like that whole thing. That's hard enough. And then when you try to switch over to your soul's purpose, yes, some things become easier, but that's a whole nother spiritual journey where it's like, that's not easy. Okay? To trust in yourself, to trust in your abilities, to navigate life in general, navigate the obstacles, conflicts, your inner conflicts, the outer. You don't need more. Okay? You don't need nobody speaking negativity over something. It's not that it's shaky in the first place, but it's difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need the extra it's hard to navigate on its own without somebody giving you extra And say you cut these people off and they're still gossiping. Well, I can't do nothing about them if they're still gossiping. No, you can't. But just rest assured, when you believe, remember, your beliefs creates reality. If you know that when people talk bad about other people, they're only, and it's not the truth, because some things can be interpreted as bad, and it's like, well, it's just the truth. It is what it is. I'm not speaking bad over you, like, this is what you exhibit. But when it's not the truth, and deep down they know it's not the truth, when people talking out the side of their neck, they know that, especially if they know it's a chance that is not true, right? They know it deep down, right? Best believe that energy is coming back to them. Now, there are things that you can do, you know. It just popped up in my head. I'm like, spirit just told me, like, no, you can always take action against this stuff. You can always defend yourself. Now, I don't recommend return to senders. Like, I used to do it sometimes. Like, sometimes return to senders are appropriate, but you have to be careful with return to senders, though, is because you're sending energy directly back to them. What I would suggest is the best return to sender to do is to release it into the universe. When you release it into the universe, and there was a beautiful video that Ma Kali sent to me, and I love me some Ma Kali too, where it was like really towards the end of my spiritual warfare, the end of my spiritual battle, and it was really ramping up. And it was like, come on, you gotta finish it, like right before, you know, an animal dies or whatever, they fight the hardest, right? So it was like a battle. And she sent me this, and she was like, when you release it into the universe, she was like, don't feel guilty, because it was all this was in the video. She was like, don't feel guilty. It was like one of those AI generated, so it was like really from her. It was like, don't feel guilty that whatever, you know, when they get back, whatever they sent out, you didn't do this. This is the energy that they're sending out. And when you give it to us, when you give it to the universe, it has to go around the world. Imagine how expansive, and I'm not talking about the world as a circle. I'm talking about the world as an energy. Imagine all the journeys it has to go through. And because it's negative, it's going to pick up negative momentum. It's going to pick up other negative, like attracts like sometimes, not the opposite attracts. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about sowing seeds and karma. It starts to pick up a bunch of negativity. And I'm here, and she told me it goes around 3 times before it gets back to them. And when it hits them, she said they will not recognize that that was their own attack. So if you really want to get somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because because, they say you're not supposed to, like, enjoy it. You're not supposed to enjoy it. You're not. But you know what? You can still, this is how I stay away from baneful magic. That's one of the ways why, because I don't play that. I don't play, oh, I'm just so angry at you, I'm just going to get you back. No. And I do think it's funny, I'm going to let a spirit get you back. Because they can get you back better, more expansive, harder than I ever could. And guess what? I'm not going to sacrifice my blessings. I'm not going to sacrifice what's coming to me. I'm not going to sacrifice my protection. Because the more you fight your own battles, the more you're telling spirit you don't need to be protected. My spiritual rank goes up, my vibration goes up. It's like all these blessings come to me because I let spirit handle it, and spirit rocks their world. And you might can't see it. You might feel like, oh, nothing happened. Like if I had did something, I know I would have heard about something happening. No. Sometimes it's not the outer battles that really get you, right? It's your inner battles, right? I'm trying to tell you, let spirit handle it. Because you rock that world. Spirit will rock it. Shake it. Shake the whole foundation. You might can throw a little something on top. But no, spirit will go cause the whole earthquake. And I do think it's funny because I've been through enough, and I've had some really sadistic people in my life, some really cruel people, some really like dangerous. I've had people manifest some dangerous things in my life where it's like, all right, and they just keep doing it, and it's like, oh. And you figure out, like, they've been doing it all your life. They've been siphoning energy all your life. Like, just the different things when you start to learn. And they just keep manifesting over you, right? Every time you get in an argument, it just keep getting worse and worse. And then you realize that you're like, yo. And whether they know it spiritually, they know it physically. They know it. It's like, they're not saying it while they're mad for a reason. They're saying it for a reason. Like, there's still some intention. Even if they act like they don't know. I didn't know it was that deep spiritually. You were still trying to say something harmful, though. So there was still negative intent in the first place because it came out of anger. So they know. And it's like, so once you tell them, you'll be surprised. They'll keep doing it. And you'll be like, oh, I release it to the universe. And however long it takes, sometimes it may take years for it to circle them 3 times. And when it get, you might be off living your life. You might never even hear about it, but just know they got it. They got it. It's just the deep knowing, like, they got you. I had somebody do something physically to me recently, and 3 days later, something happened. Because they wasn't supposed to do it, and it was an extreme violation. And spirit was like, all right, yeah, I got you. I'm about to say, do y'all want me to say what it was? Yeah, I had a man put his hands on me, and that was the first time I've had like a lover. My father, apparently, I've blacked out some of the memories, but he used to kind of be a little physically violent. But this is the first time I've had a man that was like a past lover or whatever put his hands on me, and in 3 days his car was gone. They repossessed his car. On the bus you go. 3 days. Like, spirit moved so quickly because that was such a violation that wasn't supposed to happen. Like, I've never been hit. I don't play that. And then he tried to gaslight, oh, that was a day. And that was like a week or two ago, you know? So I'm still fighting battles, but the reason why I just look so good and so because I give it to spirit. Don't think I didn't have to purge that negative energy out of my body. Don't think I wasn't sore and had to listen to fascial muscle, you know. I think I'm going left, but because I'm telling you guys to release it, and I was telling you guys ways to defend yourself. So don't attack them. Release it into the universe. Tell the universe your problems, what you're concerned about, and just release it to them. You can create a ward over your name. So write your name on a piece of paper, sign it, put your date of birth, and you can write a circle. You could do a salt circle and burn it, so it shouldn't penetrate the salt circle. Do salt and oil, and it shouldn't penetrate it. And if it's penetrating, that means it's kind of, you haven't had enough spiritual defenses, you know, personal spiritual defenses around you. You could take showers to wash it off. I would definitely do like the warding of your name. There's different ways. You can look it up. It's easy. Look it up on TikTok. Look it up on YouTube. There's like different people spell, you know, different spells on how you ward your name. So basically, don't put any extra little pizzazz in it. You can, but it's not necessary. Sometimes it's necessary though, but sometimes no. Basically, if they attack your name, so I would always do it in a positive way. If you put a little bit extra, anybody, you could put the intention that anybody who speaks ill on your name, it turns into prosperity, it turns into blessings, instead of being like, anybody speaks bad on my name, something bad happens to them. Like, that's kind of like, still like, that's a return to sender, baneful magic. And you know, after a while, the more powerful you become, the more baneful it becomes. And then you'll find a reverse situation happening where it's like, okay, spirit's like, okay, well, I can't trust you with this power because you're not giving it to me to handle. You're steady. You're trying to exercise your power onto somebody else, and it's like a shut up spell. Like, you can't make anybody shut up. You can't infringe on their free will. So you can't punish them either, you know. Like, you're not God, you're not spirit, the universe, the most high. So who are you to even punish people, if you get what I'm saying? So make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? The more they speak on your name, the better you look. The more they speak on your name, the more money comes in, the more opportunities come, right? Make it all about you too, okay? So that's how your power increases. That's why your personal power increases, and why focusing on them, your power decreases, because you're making it all about them instead of all about you. That's empowerment. It's deep, y'all, why you don't focus on them and you focus on you. But warding is one way. Envision yourself in a cloud of, in a like a shield of bright light, golden light, a diamond shield. I used to imagine where they would send the negativity and it would bounce back, it would bounce off. And that's why I like the diamond, because it's different facets. So the way in which they threw it, you know, the facets, it would go somewhere else, and then it can travel around the world and come hit me around the world and back again. I don't know. That's not a song. I was saying, I don't know where I was going with that. That's not a song. So I hope this helps, because it can be really aggravating when people, you know, want to use the power of their tongue not to uplift you or even uplift themselves. You know, they want to spend their time throwing negative jabs at you. And I feel like it's irritating, because, you know, it does create more work for you. It can, as far as like, oh, I got to ward my name now. But sometimes, you know, new levels, new devils, you know what I'm saying? As you start to rise up, just take it for what it is. Kind of take it as a hint that you're doing well, you know, that there's something about you. Sometimes it's like, you know, if you don't have those wards up and they're continuously sticking to your aura, you may need to like ground. So sometimes I do be like, all right, you just create more work, or like, nah, right? Or it's just unnecessary, or you are the people who's supposed to be building me up, but instead you're trying to tear me down. And you know, there's enough of that. It's enough of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm already having to do everything by myself. I don't need to be holding off your attacks too, you know. But know that you are protected, and no one can speak over your life. The divine always has the last say, honey. The divine, you know, somebody keeps saying stuff over and over and over again. The divine will show them the complete opposite right in their faces. They will bless you right in front of their faces, just to be like, you ain't got no power. You ain't never had no power. So I'm gonna need you to sit down, because I'm big dog, okay? You're not even little dog. You're not even in the same species as me. So go sit down somewhere, because I, big dog, I have the last say. Not me, spirit, source, the universe, your higher power. So this is what I leave you guys with. I hope this helps, because spiritual warfare can happen in many different ways. This can just be, you don't even have to look at it as spiritual warfare. You can just look at it as, you know, boundaries and respect. You know, if somebody respects you, they shouldn't be trying to speak over you in that way. This has found you exactly when it's needed to find you. There might be increased chatter that you don't know about, that you need to protect yourself from. It might be actually coming towards you. You might be aware of it, and it might be frustrating you, or you might not even understand like what's happening when you hear those things. You might just think it's an argument, and spirit's making you aware, like, no, this is unacceptable. So, all right, lovelies, I hope this helps. Mwah.